Second thing that Peter says about this is that we are kept by the power of God. How do we come to get this living hope? How do we come to experience the end reality of our hope? Well, we're kept by God. Isn't that interesting? Peter says not only is your inheritance kept, but we're kept. Right? Verse 5, who are kept by the power of God? If one or the other wasn't kept by the power of God, then we wouldn't connect. You know, there are countless stories of men who risked life and limb to hunt for Earth's treasures. In some cases, the explorers discover the treasure and then never live to enjoy them. Our family has just completed a story called King Solomon's Mines, which was written by H. Rider Haggard, was an extremely influential and popular book in 1885. And he describes in this book this exploration, which is hunting for the legendary mines from which Solomon got all of his splendor, which was supposedly in the heart of Africa. And the explorers in this book, they actually discover the mines. They actually get into the mines, and they're surrounded by the greatest treasure anyone in the world has ever seen. They're scooping their hands through piles of huge uncut diamonds and jewels and everything like that. But all of a sudden, the door through which they entered closes. And now they're trapped with no food, no water, surrounded by the greatest treasure Earth has ever known. What good is it though? Right? They were the ones who weren't kept. Right? The treasure's still good, but now they're going to die. At least that's what you're led to believe in the story. What good would the greatest salvation do if it was kept in heaven, but we couldn't get to it? Be like these explorers who found a treasure but couldn't get it, couldn't experience it. That would be like God saying, there's this glorious treasure in heaven, but you may never get there. But that's not what Peter's saying. He's saying, you are kept by the power of God so that treasure will be yours. Well, how? Well, Peter says a third thing about how we come to experience this living hope. He says, through faith. Who are kept by the power of God through faith for salvation, ready to be revealed at the last time. The gospel, the good news about Jesus Christ, His works, what He's earned, glory, majesty. The gospel is communicated to us so that we would what? Believe it. That we would believe it. Trust it. Trust God. Have faith in God's promises. And through believing, actually experience everything that God has promised to us. Now, I don't know if that strikes anyone else here as almost sounding too simple. But it is simple. It's very simple. God makes promises. Believe them and receive what He's promised. Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you'll be saved. Right? It's a simple message. God makes promises, believe it. Let me allude back to that story, King Solomon's Mines. In that story, the explorers faced all kinds of tribulations, even getting to the mines. They faced wild animals. They faced savage natives. They faced scorching desert. They faced lack of water and food. And why? All to discover the source of the vast treasure of Solomon's mines. They went through all of that for the treasure that they were hoping to bring back. But here God promises a reward, as we've already looked at, that will make Solomon's treasure look like tin rings and plastic stones. And how do we receive it? By doing this, that, and the other thing for God? By walking across scorching deserts? By doing all kinds of difficult things for God and proving ourselves to be loyal and faithful and finally at the end demonstrating that we've earned this treasure? No. by believing that God has given you this treasure. It sounds too simple, but it is simple.